WrestleMania 43, news come out that it's going to Saudi Arabia. Let that sink in. WWE, biggest show, their biggest market is in America. They're going to Saudi Arabia. This shouldn't be a surprise to anybody that they are going to Saudi because the relationship has been going on for about 7 or 8 years now, where WWE goes and does big business in Saudi Arabia. I don't know the titles for the people in the titles of how it works in Saudi Arabia, but their government is their own business. They have what's called the Riyadh season, and it's one of WWE's biggest sponsors. Riyadh season is on the mat. They're on the canvas. They're on the turnbuckles. There's commercials during every television event that WWE puts out for Riyadh season. And it's kind of fucked up. I mean, let's just put it that way. They're going to Saudi Arabia with the biggest show of the year. WrestleMania 43. WrestleMania has never left US soil. A lot of people, including myself, I thought that when WWE would leave the US, they would go to London. And there's been talks of doing big shows in London, and WrestleMania was thrown around for London at Wembley Stadium. The reason I didn't think WWE would let AEW control Wembley Stadium. Like, Wembley is basically become the home of All Out. It's the number one spot. AEW runs shows in Wembley every year. I mean, except for this year. This was the only year, and they didn't get to go there this year. Instead, they went to the O2, which sold a shit ton of tickets, broke records. But what I'm trying to get into here is why Saudi Arabia. One, like I said, the Turkish prince, Tariq, I think is his name, Tariq Al-Sheikha. We're going to call him the prince because I don't know how to say it. Anyways, the reason they're going in 2027 is he's running the damn show, basically. While Ari Emanuel is the head of TKO, Nick Khan runs the business for WWE. You have Dana White running UFC. TKO Boxing, which has its first event this weekend. At the end of the day, being controlled by the Sheik or the Prince. I keep calling him the Sheik. I don't know why. He's not the fucking Iron Sheik. Anyways, the Prince that runs the sports authority for Saudi Arabia. It's fucking crazy. But the one reason they want 2027 is the 300th anniversary of the founding of Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia they celebrate their Independence Day. They call it the Founding Day on February 22nd, 1727. Now, why is that important? Well, next year, 2026, is the 250th anniversary of the United States. The UFC is planning on going to the White House and having a huge event on Independence Day. Dana White and crew is taking the cage and everything to the White House. They're going to have a huge show. Now, there ain't no fucking way that the Prince was going to be like, oh, they're going to one-up us? No, we're paying for this shit. We're more invested in WWE. They're huge WWE fans. They even have their own WWE world in Saudi Arabia. Like, whatever. So they want the big business. They're paying for shit. They want the 300th anniversary. They're not going to let the United States be like, oh, yeah, you guys got UFC. We're going to take WWE. We're going to show you. We're going to one-up you, basically. I don't think that's going to be possible. I think the fucking viewership of the UFC is so huge, especially with the fact that most likely that event will be on CBS. It's free cable. The UFC for free when they go to the fucking White House. But WWE has a huge deal with ESPN. So you're likely to get WrestleMania in 2027 on ESPN from Saudi Arabia. Now, some of the reasons I don't like it. One, it's the Saudis. Business-wise, the Saudis fucking sucks. I'm not on board with that. I don't like it, but WWE is gonna keep going. That's what they do. It's their business model. Like I said, Riyadh season's paying for this shit. They're gonna keep going. I don't like that basically the Prince tells WWE who they want. Like they brought The Undertaker back for shows. They brought Brock Lesnar back for shows. They've brought back Goldberg for shows. They kind of tell WWE what they want and they do it because they're paying for this shit. I don't like the government base alone where women can't be themselves. They can't wear the gear they would normally wear. They up until a few years ago, they couldn't even. They had to have their head covered the whole time. It's not worked out well for the women in WWE, though. They're gonna sell you the opposite because they're actually getting to have matches there. There are women's matches, but they look like shit. I mean, the gear's awful. Those matches aren't the best, but the matches are good. The presentation sucks, is what I'm trying to say. But one of the things that comes with WrestleMania going to Saudi Arabia isn't just WrestleMania. So if you're a wrestling fan, you know WrestleMania is the mecca of wrestling. Not only is it the mecca of WWE, but the indies. The indies do so much business and around the WrestleMania event. It's a whole week. There is a fan convention. There are independent shows. There are WWE tryouts. For example, GCW, which is a top level independent, runs the Collective each year at whatever town Mania's in. This past year it was in Vegas. Next year it's in Vegas. GCW Collective will be running a week's worth of shows from Las Vegas. It's where the wrestling world comes. One, I don't think there's any venues that is capable of holding such a thing in Saudi Arabia. Two, Saudi Arabia ain't letting shit go on that they ain't making money off of, so they're not going to care. And three, I don't think Saudi Arabia fans even know what wrestling is outside the WWE. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be crazy. But on top of that, I also wonder who can afford to go to fucking Saudi Arabia. I think the fans are going to be down. I think events are going to be down. They'll hold a WWE Access event. I guarantee you that. And there'll be fans there, but it won't be like WWE Access would be in Vegas next year or how WrestleCon goes on. It's a big week. Everybody goes there. Japanese wrestling goes there. You have Stardom go there. You have New Japan used to run shows that week. Ring of Honor used to run shows that week before they were bought by AEW. There's so much that goes into the fact that you're probably going to lose the wrestling part of WrestleMania because WWE isn't wrestling anymore. It's sports entertainment. Vince said that years ago.